Parliament passes controversial reform bill amidst heated debate and protests. Taiwan's parliament, controlled by the opposition, has approved a contentious reform bill after days of intense debate and physical altercations between members of parliament, MPs, within the legislative chamber, and mass demonstrations by citizens outside. The legislation passed with a vote of 58 to 45, Bloomberg reported, following a third reading on Tuesday evening in Taipei, which witnessed further scuffles and members of the ruling party engaging in disruptive behavior, such as throwing paper planes and hurling garbage bags at the opposition. The impetus for the bills stems from the two major opposition parties, the nationalist Kuomintang, KMT, and the populist Taiwan People's Party, TPP, which collectively command a majority in parliament after making gains in the January elections at the expense of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, DPP. The DPP emerged victorious in the presidential race, with Lai Ching-te formally sworn in as president last Monday. The legislation aims to enhance the parliament's authority to summon and interrogate officials, military personnel, and citizens, and to demand documents. The DPP has accused the opposition of seeking to exploit the reforms to undermine Lai's presidency. Upon the bill's passage, jubilant KMT and TPP legislators brandished small balloons resembling suns. Remnants of over a week of hostility and late-night deliberations, including placards, flowers, and piles of furniture, surrounded the parliamentarians, while tens of thousands of protesters rallied outside. Readings of the bill regularly extended past midnight amidst delays and acrimony, with the DPP and its supporters accusing the opposition of jeopardizing Taiwan's democratic processes in their haste to force the bill through. Last week, confrontations between opposing legislators descended into violence, resulting in at least 2 MPs receiving brief hospital treatment. Proponents of the legislation maintain that Taiwan's legislature requires reform to enhance accountability and contend that these bills are not substantially different from those that the ruling DPP attempted to introduce when they held the legislative majority. However, critics argue that the current bills are more far-reaching than the DPP's proposals and are poorly defined, with many citing the newly introduced offense of contempt of Congress. They assert that the proposed law could be easily abused to target political opponents and hinder the smooth functioning of Lai's administration. According to reports, that particular amendment did not pass the third reading on Tuesday, prompting protest speakers to demand that the KMT and TPP abandon it altogether. Translations of the amendments, circulated earlier in the week, included provisions that officials under interrogation could face fines for providing false testimony or engaging in reverse questioning, a term that critics have labeled as undefined and potentially conflicting with the principles of free speech. The Taiwan Bar Association had previously accused the opposition parties of failing to engage in meaningful discussion or scrutiny of the bills before attempting to push them through. Outside the Parliament building, tens of thousands of people assembled for the third time in a week to protest the proposed legislation. Friday's gathering attracted the largest crowd, with estimates ranging from 50,000 to 100,000 protesters. The protests have grown increasingly organized with each demonstration, featuring crowd control measures, medical support, food and water distribution, and garbage collection. The rally commenced on Tuesday morning, featuring a full day of speakers and musical performances. Crowds surged as people left work and school around the same time that the bill passed. These protests represent the largest public demonstrations in Taiwan since the 2014 Sunflower Movement, a period that many protesters this week evoked as a source of inspiration. Many protesters expressed to The Guardian their resolve to continue demonstrating against what they perceive as undemocratic conduct by the opposition. Lai is likely to face a challenging first term with a hostile parliament, while simultaneously navigating China's threats to annex Taiwan. On Saturday, Lai expressed his support for the previous night's protests, stating that the power of Taiwan's civil society is on full display. He emphasized the importance of following procedural justice in the legislature's deliberations and accused the opposition of forcing votes through a majority and depriving the legislative yuan of the bill's due discussion. Quote.